Hey everybody, this week's episode of Teen Wolf was so great. Scott got his game back. Let's talk about episode 13 of season 5, Codominance. The episode started off with Kira in that desert area about to fight those skinwalkers, and apparently it's in a place called Shiprock, New Mexico, and somehow the skinwalkers are supposed to help her learn how to control her fox side. I'm gonna get back to Kira, but first let's talk about Scott and Stiles this episode. Stiles is back, you guys. They have made up, and it was just the most amazing thing to watch. I love their friendship, and that is why in honor of that, I just had to wear my wolf hat today. When we first see Scott and Stiles, we see Stiles fixing the Jeep, and yes, the Jeep is back, but he didn't really fix it all the way because the gas gauge was still like leaking all the gas out, so that kind of screwed them partway through the episode and their journey to find Kira. But onto some other things that are important as well, besides Stiles' Jeep, who has been around since the beginning of the series. Scott had a talk with Liam, finally. Liam came to him to try to offer his help and give him information about Theo, which Scott already knew. Every bit of information that Scott heard from Liam, he responded with an "I know," except for when he mentioned Hayden being alive. That threw Scott for a loop, but he still told Liam that he could not come to New Mexico to help them find Kira, and told him basically to lay low. So the whole episode, Liam is trying to keep his temper under control and lay low and not lose his cool, which we know he does a lot. We see a whole scene where he's contemplating attacking Theo because he's talking with Hayden and all this stuff. We see him and Hayden at one point get partnered up in class, and he's just trying to not get involved with Hayden. They end up making up and having a makeout scene, as well as Mason and Corey having their own little makeout scene as well. And but Mason does have an ulterior motive. He's using his little fling with Corey to find out information on Theo and his big plan. Lydia in this episode is still in Eichen House, and Meredith is teaching her how to focus and use her voice as a weapon. And it is probably one of the most well shot scenes in the episode. Just the way that it was done, it's beautiful and eerie and just amazing. Malia in the episode, she's trying to search for clues on where Deaton could be. She even gets in a big fight with Theo at one point, and then he goes and tells her that he can help her find Deaton and the Desert Wolf because he knows how the Dread Doctors were finding everybody. One of the best scenes in the episode was with Theo and Tracy. They are running through the school and run into the Dread Doctors, have this kind of argument, and Theo is basically telling them he didn't get what he signed up for. He has a pack, yes, but he's not an alpha. His eyes are not red. And then the Beast of Jabudan shows up, or the new Beast of Jabudan, whatever. I'm still trying to figure this out. But he shows up, and the Dread Doctors all of a sudden disappear, and the Beast throws a head at them, who is apparently some teacher, because the teachers always get axed on this show for some reason. Theo and Tracy, their faces at this point, they're so comical that I laughed pretty hard. It was good. It was good stuff. All right, now, back to Kira. So she is trying to pass this test that the Skinwalkers have put her on, and she doesn't really understand what she is meant to be doing, but she fails, and she doesn't know she has failed until they tell her that. She basically is put up against some Oni, which I don't know if they were really Oni or if the Skinwalkers made her hallucinate the Oni, but she was carrying an Oni mask afterwards. So she killed an Oni, but her fox took over and won the fight. So at this point, I'm like, Kira, no, that's not what you were meant to be doing. As she was slicing the Oni, she was getting sliced up as well. And she comes to her mother and is like, I won. And I'm just staring at Kira, and I just shook my head because she didn't realize that she didn't win. That her fox side, the Kitsune side, was wielding her, and she wasn't wielding it. So the deal with the Skinwalkers was if she didn't pass the test, she was to stay with them and become one of them. Well, Scott shows up and saves the day and rescues Kira, and all of a sudden they're in the car and making out, Kira and Scott. And yeah, so there were a lot of makeout scenes this episode. And guys, yes, I know, I have a couple of things that I haven't talked about yet. And there's a reason, because they are so awesome. So one of the most important scenes in the episode was when Scott and Stiles finally had that talk about how Donovan died and how it was self-defense, and Scott forgave Stiles. The way this scene played out and how it wasn't just a quick conversation, it was kind of a continuous conversation throughout a couple scenes. I really, really loved the way they did that. And it's just so great to have Scott and Stiles back as friends, as besties again. Finally though, at the end of the episode, we find out what Theo has been up to all along. Mason got out of Corey that Theo is looking for a blind alpha. Yes, you guys, we're talking about Deucalion. Y'all have seen the previews. I am so thrilled that Deucalion is coming back. Gideon Emery is brilliant, and I can't get enough of him anytime he is on the screen. So having him back as Deucalion is going to be wonderful. This is definitely one of my top favorite episodes of season 5. It's just really starting to gain ground and making everything that they went through in 5A not worth it, but it's making a lot more sense of what's going on now and where the show is going to go. And I am really excited for badass Lydia. I mean, you guys, it's far past time for badass Lydia. Y'all know this. I know this. Everyone knows this. I hope y'all enjoyed this recap and review. Continue to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.